Hi everyone. Welcome to our first workshop, right, for Redacted Hackathon, right, which is being organized by Near Blockchain all over the world, right. And BlockseBlock is a hackathon hosting platform for Redacted Hackathon in India, right. So welcome everyone, right. My name is Sahil, founder BlockseBlock, right. Really excited to see so many people coming onto this call, right, and this workshop, right, and getting to know about Near blockchain, right, which is one of the most innovative blockchains out there, right. The founder of Near Blockchain India is one of the most renowned faces when it comes to AI technology. So, Near blockchain, it's like an intersection of AI technology and blockchain in a very big way, right. We have with us our technical educator and mentor, right, Mr. Vinayak Kalra, founder of Kai Foundry. Kai Foundry is one of the biggest blockchain development studios in India, right, providing services to all over the world, right, and they have some exciting products building on the blockchain, right. Welcome, Vinayak, as well. So really excited to start this off, right? So guys, before I give the stage to Mr. Vinayak, right, so that he can guide you guys how to start building up these projects into this hackathon, right? And you can compete for approximately 7 to 8 CR in INR and 950K US dollars worth of prize pool, right? And it is all cash. Like you will be able to, like, it's not just like some random things, right? Credits, right? In Web3, the most fascinating thing is you will be getting actual money, right? So I will be starting off with, like, a basic introduction about what exactly it is happening in the hackathon, right? So you guys can see this. So the hackathon is redacted, right? So the major use case, right? So why this happening? What is the theme of the hackathon, or the major problem statement? Is the intersection of AI and blockchain, the use of artificial intelligence, right? So it is a major theme. Apart from that, I can understand not everybody is proficient in AI technology, right? So you might be feeling like, this is not the hackathon for me, right? So though you don't need to worry, right? You can build something else as well, right? So there are different themes that they are provided, right? Artificial, intelligence, one theme, right? Then there is chain abstraction, right? So there are multiple themes that are being provided, right? And this hackathon is getting ended, in November, right? There is a ceremony, right? You can also win a, trip to Thailand, right? So once, if your project is good, right, Near Foundation will sponsor your trip to Thailand as well. So you'll be able to win that opportunity as well to, get a trip to Thailand, right? So these are the, rules and regulations of the, so you can so there are two tracks, right? One is the native track. You can build one application on Near blockchain, right? And second, if you're already building a product on a different chain, you can move it into the Near blockchain, right? For example, if you have a EVM based project, right, that can be shifted towards Near using Aurora, right? So entire, technical stuff will be taken care by Vinayak, right? And now comes out to the most important, what is the prize money, right? So the top three products, right, projects is 50,000 USD, 30,000 USD, right, and 20,000 US, right. So the top three projects are getting $1 lakh. That comes around to, 85 lakh rupees in INR, right? So it's a very big amount of money that you guys will be earning up, right? So I really hope that you guys take a full, like, advantage of this opportunity that is being provided to you guys, right? And all the developers. So these workshops are getting organized right now, right? At the same time, we will be available one-to-one sessions. My team will be there. They will be contacting you, everyone in person, right? So you can keep on messaging us that, okay, this is something that I'm not able to understand. Please let me know, right? So these are the things that we will help you out throughout the entire donation, right? Over to you, Vinayak, right? Please, guide the students and the developers who are coming onto this, right? So that they can start off their projects, right? Over to you, Vinayak.
Thank you, Sahil. This is, I believe, uh, an amazing opportunity for everyone that is here. To probably make some really quick bucks. And there are these prices might even sponsor the entire college fees of some students here. So this is really, really huge, right? Probably one of the huge hackathons that I've seen uh, that are being run through. So I think you guys here have a very, very good opportunity. You guys are in good hands. We can guide you. At the same time, the offer of having a one-to-one sessions is really amazing, right? I believe it is just that you just have to pull up your socks, guys, and be there for 1 week, doing stuff, building stuff, and getting some knowledge out of it, right? Let me just start with a quick introduction about myself. So, my name is Vinay Kalra. I'm founder of Quadby Technologies and Kai Foundry. So we own a tech company which has worked with a lot of blockchain ecosystems out there. So we employ people that are interested in blockchain that have worked with blockchain ecosystems, right? And some of the ecosystems that we have worked with includes near ICP, Polkadot, Solana, Ethereum, right? So these are a few ecosystems that we have worked extensively with and have been working for the past 5 years now, right? With most of the ecosystems, some of the ecosystems are fairly new. That being said, I myself am from a development background, guys, right? So, as I said, you guys are in very good hands. It's just that, the more interactive that you guys would be in these sessions, I would be able to guide you accordingly, right? So, these sessions would be very informative and very good if everyone here is energetic in doing it, right? And I'll promise, like, this is my promise to everyone that you will eventually learn a lot from these sessions and go out, right? So, quick question to everybody that is here, like how many of you are, blockchain native? How many of you have done some work on any blockchain by now? Is there someone they can raise their hands like this in the chat? They have a raise hand button, so they can raise their hands. Okay. Anyone else? Or you can message in the chat box as well, guys. Even within the session, if you guys have some questions, you can then keep on asking in the chat box, right? So there are two people right now. Anyone else who has done some work or knows about blockchain? All right, let me just rephrase my question. How many of you are interested in blockchain and building some stuff in blockchain? Good, good, good. That's really good. Really, really good. Now there is a good show of hands, right? So let me just make sure that the today's session is a little bit on a lighter side so that you guys understand what blockchain is, right? And how does a blockchain works, right? So this is what we cover in today's session. Piyush has a quick question. Is Rust an important language for blockchain? Uh, no language generally is important, Piyush, right? So this is what I generally say. Rust is a good language for blockchain. It's a very good language for blockchain. This is why you will see Rust as a prominent language for a lot of blockchains. For Near as well, you will find Rust as a prominent language. But at the same time, Rust is a bit difficult to learn. If you are starting out with blockchain, I would recommend rather use JavaScript or Solidity for that matter to understand a blockchain and then work on it. How many of you know JavaScript here? Can I have a quick, again, show of hands? A good number of people. That's really good. That's really, really good. So this is a very good audience as per my intentions. What I would do is I'll make sure that every one of you knows what a contract is and knows how to deploy it and create a DApp at the same time on Near and submit it, right? I can ensure, but at the same time, I cannot ensure your participation, guys. So you have to make sure that you are willing enough to make sure to do this, right? This is going to be a little tough, but the journey is going to be amazing. Wonderful. I started my journey from some hackathons only in my college days. So I would recommend all of us do the same, right? On that note, let me just go through some basics of a blockchain really quick, right? And then we jump on Near, like what Near is. how can we then start our journey in coding in near, right? So we will cover these two sessions in this workshop itself. I believe we have enough time to do both of them, right? I'm going to clear some doubts that you might have for blockchains, right? So let me just quickly share my screen. You cannot see it yet because I'm typing something. All right, I'm just going to open that. Right? Just a second. I would really appreciate it if you can mute it. Thank you. All right, so let me share my screen quickly. I'll show you some really cool stuff, guys. Can we mute? Thank you. Great. So let me just show you some really cool stuff, right? Some things about cryptography, right? So that it would entice you guys a lot. Is there someone who knows about what a hash is? Anyone?
सर
Would
हैश
anyone
लाइक
of
एक
you?
सीड जनरेट कर
Yeah,
देता है लाइक
this
किसी
was
भी
my
डेटा
next.
का
क्या क्या कह रहे हैं पीयूष आप?
सर लाइक एक सीड रिप्रेजेंट करता है जो भी लाइक हम वॉलेट वगैरह बनाते हैं ना एक सीड दे देता है हमें हैश
एक सीड दे देता है हैश, ठीक है, ओके। कोई और बोलना चाहता है? हैश क्या है? गाइस प्लीज फील फ्री, मतलब कोई जजमेंट नहीं है यहाँ पे। जिन लोगों ने हैंड रेस किया था, दे कैन आल्सो आंसर हियर। आई वाज गोइंग टू से द सेम थिंग। कोई और बोलना चाहता है हैश क्या होता है?
Hash is basically a unique identifier for any data in the form of a 256-bit or 64-bit, whatever.
Good, good. Anyone else?
So hash is a mathematical function which
Hmm.
converts any text to a given arbitrary size. So it has various versions, 256 bits, 516 bits, depending on the version of the hash.
ठीक है, okay. That's the accurate representation. ठीक है। You give it arbitrary input, ठीक है। कुछ भी आप इसको input देते हैं ना अगर, ठीक है, तो supposedly अगर मैं ये अभी यहाँ पे input है, this is null, right? Your data is, there is nothing in this data, still it has an input. इस null hash ये है, null का hash ये है, ठीक है। So what we are doing is we are giving it a, this is basically a mathematical operation, a mathematical function जिसमें आप input देते हैं and then you get an output. An output is in the form of a hash, right? And if I keep on writing here, जैसे मैं यहाँ पे hello लिखता हूँ, ठीक है, तो hash you'll see on every alphabet that I write, hash is going to change, right? Now what is the importance of hash? और why are we doing this? है ना? अब ये कोई बता सकता है?
So it is mainly used for integrity of data, so that data cannot be altered.
It is mainly used for integrity, yes. Why is it used for integrity? Sorry,
So
मैं ज्यादा क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा हूँ, ट्राई कर रहा हूँ कि हाँ पूछो,
okay, sir.
बताओ।
So for example, if we have some file and we have some text in it or any type, so what we do, we generate a hash file, and we send it to the other person. Or if some attacker altered its data, even if a single space is altered, the hash changes. So
Yes.
it is for preserving the data.
Nice.
It is,
Nice. बिल्कुल सही बात है. It is used for preserving the data, which is very nice, right? एक और चीज मैं यहाँ पे ऐड करूंगा, ठीक है? What I want to add here is, if you get this hash, right, you cannot convert this hash back to this data, which in turn helps in the security of the data, which is why your data's integrity is maintained. This is a what we call these functions that like SHA 256 again is a mathematical function. This function represents a one-way function only. So your data could be hashed into some random string. You cannot determine that this data is hello or any other text for that matter, right? So you cannot reverse engineer this. You can, like, this is almost tending to reversible. It needs a lot of computation to actually reverse this, right? So this is what hashing means, and this hash underlies the entire safety security protocols of a blockchain. Okay. So anyone who would now tell me any, basics. I think this is a tool that a lot of you, if you have ever searched about blockchain, you guys can actually see this tool. This is open source tool, and this is generally used for educational purposes only. So this is not something that, once you go ahead and search about blockchain, you will probably reach this link, this tool, and you can also do it by yourself. I can share it here. Just do not do it right now. I'm doing it for you, for your, yeah, Saurabh. There definitely this. Saurabh Kumar has it right. It's one way encryption. Now, any one of you would like to tell me what a block is or what a blockchain is?
A block is basically an individual entity, like a ledger entry on a blockchain, and it contains data and other important information. And many such blocks, when digitally linked by means of hash, they form a blockchain. So yeah.
That is absolutely correct. So I'll go ahead and skip block for a minute, right? I'll just go through this once so that every other person knows about this block. This is very good. Sushant, I believe, right?
Yeah, it was me.
Sushant. Okay. So so there are a lot of fields in a block, right? This is block height, the number of blocks. So this is the first block, so it is block number one. Then we have nonce here, then we have data here. And all of these comprises the hash, right? So you can have anything in data here. You can have text here, you can have transactions here, right? And you can also have code here, right? In case of Ethereum or any other chain, in case of Near as well, you basically have code here, uh, or transactions, depending on what is it that you're trying to do. So the the difference basically lies between Bitcoin and the other chain. So Bitcoin just have transactions, that's it, right? And at the same time, any other chain that can run contracts for you can store code and compute it on chain. So this is the basic difference. We'll come to it at a later stage, right? And then these blocks are mined by miners or validated by stakers, and then they are added to a chain of blocks. And once you formulate this chain, which is again based on hashes, as Sushant has mentioned, your your current hash is fed to the previous hash, right, of the next block, just so that you can point from second block to the first block, or from the third block to the second block, and then from second to the first block, right? So why is this important? Why is this information important? Because if I change the data here, you'll see that two blocks turned red. Block 2 and block 3, both of them turned red. What this means is that I have invalidated this block, because uh, I lost the integrity of data here, because I've changed the data here. Now the data's integrity is lost in this block, right? And it has, because of this, it has lost the link between second and third block, and third, fourth, fifth, sixth, any subsequent blocks are then going to be invalidated. So this is why you cannot go ahead and change transactions or data in a blockchain, because then you have to go ahead, change data in the blockchain, mine all of these blocks, and then form the longest chain possible within the time frame where the next block is going to be inserted in this chain. Too much information, you don't need it, guys, for hackathon. All right. If you guys need this information for hackathon, I believe this is recorded. You can go ahead again, hear what I said, right? And search a little bit about this again, right? So we can share resources with you on this, and it should be good. Any questions so far on blockchain? You guys can ask it in the chat box, or you guys can unmute yourself and then ask. Any questions? Durga, do you have any questions? We're good. This is fairly simple, right? Great. Now, this is a basics of blockchain. Now, as I mentioned, that we can also have code here, right? So that code is what constitutes your smart contracts. So you basically write contracts on top of chain, compute it on chain, right? And that data basically is disbursed from this blockchain. This blockchain is what you can think of as a big outlying database, right? So whosoever has worked with databases will be able to understand that how is this related to a linked list, right? Where your latest entity is linked with your previous entity, and at the same time, this is what is used for data storage in blockchains. Basically, blockchain is the underlying technology for data storage in any of the cryptocurrencies out there, right? Now, once this data is stored, you can then basically compute it based on the language or the blockchain that you're building on. So if you're building things on Near right now, the code that you can write is in JavaScript or Rust, right? Now, let me get started with one more important concept that you need to understand before we jump in this. That is wallets. How many of you have ever created a MetaMask account, created a wallet, or created a crypto wallet nonetheless? Are there some people who've created a crypto wallet? I can see two hands. Any other? Four, five. Anyone else? Okay, there are a few people that have created wallets. That's quite good. Good. So let's do this right now as well, guys. If you have not done it, right? We are going to create, a wallet right away. Just give me a second.
सर ब्लॉकचेन के लिए मतलब मर्ज टैग आना चाहिए, ऐसा मैंने सुना कि लाइक मर्ज टैग थोड़ा थोड़ा आना चाहिए।
यार आपको मान लो यार, ऐसा होता है, देखिए जैसे इट इज इंट रियली एसेंशियल कि आपको मर्न आना चाहिए, ठीक है, बट हाउ विल यू नो डिस्प्ले इट फॉर योर एंड यूजर? आपको एट द एंड ऑफ द डे ब्लॉकचेन को आपके अपने एंड यूजर से इंटरेक्ट करवाना है ना, तो वो कैसे करोगे आप? अगर आपको फ्रंट एंड बनाना नहीं आता, तो मान लीजिए यू आर क्रिएटिंग अ डैप, राइट? दैट डैप विल इवेंचुअली हैव अ फ्रंट एंड. So what you basically need is a know how to create that front end. So HTML, CSS, JavaScript भी अगर आपको आती है, it's more than enough to create a front end and then connect it with your blockchain. Are you getting my point, Piyush?
यस सर, यस सर।
Got it.
तो मतलब बैकएंड भी इतनी नहीं चाहिए, मतलब बैकएंड थोड़ी चाहिए, सिर्फ मोंगोडीबी कर ले बंदा तो उसको इतनी चाहिए।
हाँ, मतलब आपको MongoDB यार ऐसी चीज है जो इट इजंट एसेंशियल इन द स्टार्ट, बट MongoDB शायद आपको बाद में जरूरत पड़ जाएगी, जब आप मतलब जब आप एक्चुअली में, यार होता क्या ना कि विद इन एन एप्लीकेशन, इफ यू आर क्रिएटिंग लाइक अ बिग एप्लीकेशन जहाँ पे आप चाहते हो कि भाई बहुत सारे यूजर्स आए, है ना, तो इन दैट केस आपको फिर MongoDB की जरूरत पड़ेगी, बिकॉज यू विल हैव अ लॉट ऑफ यूजर्स एंड लॉट ऑफ यूजर डेटा एज वेल, राइट, अलोंग विद इट। तो वो सारा यूजर डेटा आप कई बार आप ऑन चेन नहीं रख सकते हैं, मतलब like you have to keep that data somewhere else as well, based on your use cases. On Near आप अपना सारा डेटा ऑन चेन रख सकते हैं, Near can give you data back as well, और उसकी Near blockchain की speed और everything is quite good as well, right? So Near does that for you. On the contrary, आप, you can't do like कि हाँ, इन सम ऑफ द केसेस, जैसे अगर आप इथीरियम के लिए बना रहे हैं एक डैप, राइट, तो इथीरियम के लिए फिर आपको MongoDB की जरूरत पड़ ही जाएगी, बिकॉज यू वोंट बी एबल टू सेव एवरीथिंग इन कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, बिकॉज सेविंग एवरीथिंग इन कॉन्ट्रैक्ट इज गोइंग टू बी वेरी एक्सपेंसिव फॉर योर यूजर्स। तो आपको ना मैनेज करना पड़ता है डिपेंडिंग ऑन द ब्लॉकचेन दैट यू आर बिल्डिंग ऑन। तो यू हैव टू मैनेज बेस्ड ऑन कॉस्ट, यार कितना कॉस्ट यूजर पे कर रहा है, ठीक है, ये यूजर पे कर रहा है, कर भी रहा है कि नहीं पे कर रहा है, ठीक है, और बेस्ड ऑन कि आप बेसिकली बिल्ड क्या कर रहे हैं, डैप क्या बना रहे हैं आप। अगर आपने मान लो आप एक जैसे आप एक स्टोरेज एप्लीकेशन बना रहे हैं, एक एक एग्जांपल लेता हूँ, स्टोरेज एप्लीकेशन बना रहे हो जहाँ पे बहुत सारी फोटोज अपलोड होने वाली हैं। If you are going to upload a lot of photos in an application, what would be the architecture of the product that you are going to design? That is important, right? Which blockchain are you going to use? If you're going to use Near, right, I won't recommend like storing everything. So storing, your heavy images on Near. right? Probably in the start, yes, you can store everything on near. You can store your images as well on near, right? But near blockchain will have a limitation on the response side of things. So it might be able to give you a response only up to 2 MB. Payload more than 2 MB might not be something that near can give you, right? So what you would do in that case? You might not be able to store 20 MB of an image on near blockchain, right? This is just for an example. Probably you can store it. You can always give out data in chunks, right? But then your images will need a storage primarily, and there might be some storage services on near that are giving you just the same thing, right? So you guys can go check out some of the things that will be really helpful overall, right?
सर विच इज मोस्ट कॉस्टली लाइक आईसीपी या फिर नियर किस पे ज्यादा डेटा इज मोर
यार ये
एक्सपेंसिव
तो कॉस्ट बेनिफिट एनालिसिस करना पड़ेगा आपको। मैं टू बी ऑनेस्ट आपको बताऊं ना, तो व्हाट आई फील इज ऑन द कॉन्ट्रेरी is मतलब is irrelevant as of right now, because even I have not done a cost benefit analysis of uh, of of those two chains. ठीक है, but I can tell you is कि यार definitely these both would be cheaper than uh, at least the other alternatives that are there in the market.
सो नियर का भी अपना डेटा स्टोरेज है लाइक बीएनबी का अपना ग्रीन करके समथिंग करके उनका है ना डेटा स्टोरेज के लिए
BNB
उस
का,
टाइप से हाँ जैसे बीएनबी की 3 चेन्स है ना एक तो उनका डेटा
हाँ
स्टोरेज अलग
उनका भी अपना डेटा स्टोरेज का चेन
तो
है, राइट। नियर
नियर
का
का
तो आई थिंक
वैसे
दे
ही
आर
है
स्टोरिंग, नहीं नियर का आई थिंक दे आर स्टोरिंग, मतलब नियर के लिए यू विल बी एबल टू फाइंड सर्विसेज। लेट मी सी इफ आई कैन फाइंड सम सर्विसेज ऑन नियर। I can get back to you on this कि नियर का इमेज सर्विसेज के लिए बेसिकली क्या है, बट the
और
recommended point would be like I think it is best to keep images off chain in your DApp if you have it right now, and do not keep it on near. On the contrary, because it would be rather a little expensive if you store it on near, right? So you can use maybe a cloud infrastructure in that case. So my point being, why do you like we started with the issue like why do you need MERN, right? You need MERN because a blockchain is just a part of your application, right? It isn't essential that you need to learn the entire MERN in the way MERN is there, right? So you don't really need React and everything. Simple JavaScript, HTML, vanilla things can work, right? You don't have to go very deep uh, into MERN itself to do it. Obviously, it is better because those tools are really refined uh, in building stuff, right? Uh, and definitely, once while you're using storages, you can then check for your users which one would be a better alternative for a storage. If you want the users to pay for the storage, that's an exactly that's a different thing altogether. And maybe you don't want your users to pay. Maybe your use case is NFT, yeah, right? You don't want your users to pay for the storage of your NFT. Then you can take that cost on you yourself and then create an architecture in that sense. So all of these things are something that once you start coding, you'll be able to find answers to. Okay. Any other questions, guys? I hope I've answered you, Tanish, Piyush.
Yeah, got it.
जी सर
Good, guys. Any other questions from your end? Okay. So let's go here. Right now, I'm going to share a link with all of you. Okay, I'm sharing it in the chat and I'm sharing my screen as well, so that you guys can eventually use it. So this is a near wallet. This is a Meteor wallet, right? It isn't essential that we'll be using this only for further development, right? It's not essential. But I just wanted to make sure that you guys understand the concept of what a wallet really is, right? So you can always switch it to testnet or mainnet, right? So if you want to switch chains, if you want to make sure that you want to see or want to develop something for near testnet, then you can switch on to testnet, because testnet is something, as the name suggests, we use testnet for testing our applications, So most of your testing would happen in your local environment, and then your secondary testing on your testnet, right? Eventually. So we'll see how that is done, right? But you can create a near wallet from this Meteor app, and right now it has already selected a username for me, right? So this is what it has selected. I can always go ahead and change it, right? So if I like right now Vinayak 001 is available, so I can go with this uh, near identity. So this is basically near is creating my identity by my name, you know. Uh, if now this is contrary to the point where you guys have used some of you might have used MetaMask, and then while using that you would have found that it gives you 12 keywords to store, right? And this is contrary to that approach. So you're right now writing your own username. So basically this is something like the domain name services or the name services that you ENS basically, like we have on Ethereum chain, right? So this is something like that. The technology is entirely different, guys. Like the technology of this that Near uses is entirely different. So right now I'm going to select this. I'm not a robot, right? And let's just create the wallet with my name on it. You guys can also start creating your own wallets. So it will create a wallet for me. This is going to be my identity, right? The Nike 001. And I can then store my seed phrase as well, right? So if I click on save now, it will give me options to store my seed phrase. Now this seed phrase is something that you need to protect at all times, right? I can also go ahead and set a password for my wallet so that I can protect my wallet, but I don't really need to, not right away, but I can do this eventually. But what I need to do is I need to store my seed phrase somewhere really safe. So these are the 12 words that are used to recover your account, to recover any account for that matter. I will eventually show you guys how to import this account in your in your terminal in your local environment for testing, right? So I will show you, but to recover that you'll need these 12 word keys, and these 12 words are then used to create your wallet address. What wallet address, or in our case this identity, which is then associated with the wallet address, right? So I can display it right now. These are my 12 words. So let me assure you guys, this is a security problem that I'm doing right now with me. I will never be using this address. I probably will destroy it, and then I will create a new one. But I'm not going to use this address because right now, if you have this key with you, right? Probably some of the smart ones of you might have taken screenshot as well. Please take it. I'm not going to use this account, but they can then recover my account from these seed phrases. So never share this with someone unless you want them to use the funds in your account, or unless you want them to use all the funds in your account or transfer all the funds from your account, right? So make sure of that you do not share this with anyone, because this is what creates your wallet address, your public keys and your private keys, which are eventually hidden here. Let me see if I can find. Okay, I can find the here this wallet. Sorry, guys. All right. It might not be able to. There is a process to save it. I don't want to do it right now, but you guys should do it if you're using this to store your balance. So you should actually do this, right? Okay, so I need an account ID to send to. I can, either get it from my address book. I can also link this to my address book and everything. So this is some really good, uh, you know, and easy connectivity methods that are actually available on your platform. So you guys can go ahead and check them out. All right. Now, what next is that we go through setting up our environment. If you guys want, you guys can go through with me as well. I'll probably be setting up my environment to start smart contracts, right? We won't be coding smart contracts in this session, but I would like to, share some insights into it, how it is done, how can you set it up for your own PCs, right? And then where to actually start learning how to create a contract, right? Once you know how to create a contract, then you will be able to figure out like what type of DApp you want to create on top of it, right? You don't have to create. I don't think that front end is going to be like absolutely essential for summation. But if you have a front end to display what you've created, that gives a, even to a judge out there, it is going to give a very good feeling that you basically have done something, right? And the display is really good. Right now, you guys, I don't know, I really appreciate this Meteor wallet screen right now, right? So this is really good UI. It's a wallet, definitely, but once the shooting star comes from the background, right, and drops, it really feels nice, huh? So this is what a UI does to your mind, right? Any questions so far, or shall we jump into some real cool things again with contracts? Any questions so far? Anything that you guys want me to clear before moving on to contracts? Let me also check. Tanish, it wasn't essential to type, bro, but it's all right. Uh, what else? Any questions? We're good. Great. So let me quickly jump to something more interesting now. Can you guys see my screen? This is dev.near.org's documentation, right? So let me just quickly share this with you guys as well here. This is where we'll probably spend most of our time. Everything is there, right? So we have docs here, we have tutorials here. If you want to go through any tutorials, you can, easily go through all of them, right? So if you want to build something on fungible tokens or on NFTs, anything that you want, you guys can actually check out examples and tutorials from here. Why am I showcasing this to you guys? Because this is where your entire time is going to be spent on, right? You guys will be going through tutorials in learning, right? In learning near, then building contracts, and then making sure that you guys earn that bounty, right? This is why we are all doing this. So then you have your tools as well. Near API is generally to connect with Near from your backend, Near SDKs, and Near CLI. Near SDKs is used basically in your front ends and backends as well to connect with Near blockchain. Then we have Near CLI, which is our command line interface to work with Near. We'll go through extensively through Near CLI while we're building it, right? Then resources, you guys can definitely go ahead, check it out. I don't think like support groups are something that you should join, right? Discord and Telegram, so that if you have any queries, you guys can ask there as well, right? But I believe BlockseBlock team is also there to clear your doubts if you have any, right? So they can also redirect you to the proper platform where you can get your queries answered. Then uh, let's just go through docs for now, and let's go through a quick start of building smart contracts. You guys can check this out, right? So I don't know like why there has not been a single one, who has asked me the question, what is chain abstraction? Uh, if you have seen that hackathon page, there are two things, right? Majorly mentioned. One is AI that you can work with. The other one is chain abstraction that you can work with. So chain abstraction is just a phenomenon where where your end user will not even feel that they are using a blockchain application. They will just use it like a simple application, sign in with their email address, their phone numbers, go ahead, keep using the application. The interaction of a Web3 component is unknown to the user, but it is there. So this is what chain abstraction means, right? So you guys can utilize this phenomenon to actually build your applications that qualifies in the criteria of chain abstractions, right? Let's just quickly go through a quick start, right? Uh, or let me see if they have something here, some good stuff here. No, really. Let's go through the quick start, right? I'll be doing this alongside you guys. So please, you'll have to bear with me because I do not have near SDK here in my laptop. We'll probably encounter some errors. And if we do, we'll try to solve it on the get-go. Just give me a second, guys. Okay. Now, these are the prerequisites that we have to go for. We are basically going to create a hello contract on here, right? So for JavaScript, this is a track that we can take. For Rust, this is the track that we can take, right? So let me just, this is basically installations of your near CLI, right? So it's basically all right. You guys can go, if you have Rust installed, then you can go to this environment, right? And this is for Windows, or this is for Mac OS or Linux. If you are working on Windows, you need to check this document out. If you're using Windows, then you'll have to check this document out, right? And then you can go for installations of near environment on a Windows platform, right? So right now I'm on a Mac, so I'll go through these installation techniques, right? So right now, I believe you guys can see my entire screen. Yeah, anyone? जाग रहे हो अब? हेलो,
जी सर, जी सर।
हो तो नहीं गए भाई? कॉलेज में बहुत होता था यार ये, ठीक है। मतलब आई ऑल्सो यूज टू अटेंड वर्कशॉप्स, राइट, जहाँ पे लगता था यार नहीं यार, ये तो बहुत ज्यादा वो हो रहा है, तो फिर पता नहीं क्या, मतलब थिंग्स यूज टू हैपन कि यार चलो स्किप मारते हैं, है ना? तो वन ऑफ, बट कभी भी ड्यूरिंग माई कॉलेज डेज या कभी भी ऐसा नहीं होगी इतनी अच्छी वर्कशॉप्स हो रही हो, ठीक है, तो फिर इंटरेस्ट अपने आप जाग जाता है। गुड टू हियर पीयूष योर वॉइस, ठीक है। तो I'll keep on going forward. Okay, there it is. Okay, so let's just install it. I'll open up my terminal, right? Just this one. All right, let's just go through the commands. They're asking, okay, so they basically we need npm. I think I can directly go with this. You guys might not be able to go with this directly because I already have npm installed. Okay, even I might not be able to go through this. I have to update it. Right. So I have now updated my NVM. Things should work, and I've also added it in the source so that it works in my current. Okay, it still does not have latest, so I might have to go with Rust track, guys. I'm going with Rust track. Let me see if this works for me. So there was one more thing, guys. I think I did show you, right? So that we can actually change chain to the testnet as well. So once we change it to testnet, then we can create another account on testnet. I am using the same one to create this to avoid confusion. And this will now be connected to a testnet environment. All right. So we can use Faucet to get some money here and then try to do some stuff. Might not work. Might have to restart my terminal. And that's too late. All right. Once you've gone through this, your command near should work. If you want to create, there's no need to have a testnet account to follow this tutorial. However, if you want to create one, you can go through, do using a wallet, and then you use it from near CLI by invoking near login. Let's see what will happen. Okay, this at least work. Let's do near login. So basically, near login is used login to a wallet. Okay, so right now they basically are still redirecting to the wallet.testnetnear.org, and they're asking us to use a different wallet altogether. So this won't work. We'll probably import some account using near CLI later, right? All right. So we have now the prerequisites. Let's just try to go through creating a new project. So if I go through a Rust project, I can simply do this cargo near new project name. I'll name the project near project. So it should create a new Rust project for me. At the same time, you guys can go ahead and create a JavaScript project. I'll try this as well. Let me see if I can work around with this. This is how my project is going to look like in Visual Studio Code. So this is what it created. It has created a source file which has my lib.rs, which basically is a Rust contract right now, right? So it has two functions, get greeting and set greeting. So it can get the current stored greeting and it can set the greeting. The default greeting value is hello, all right? And these are some tests that are pre-created for us to test these two functions, get and set, all right? And then we also have a sandbox here attached to it so that we can test our inputs and outputs easily, all right? So this is how you can get started with Near. So this gives you a basic contract right here to utilize and deploy. All right. Let's see what else can we do with this now. So I've done this for Rust. Let me see if I can do this for JavaScript as well. So it is now asking me if I want to create a Near app. What do you want to build? A smart contract or a web app? So let's go for a web app because I believe we are going to eventually go for let's go for classic Next.js. So it is basically giving you a front end attached with it. Name your project. So we can go with Hello Near. I believe that's fine. Then npm install now. Yes, do that. Any questions? I believe someone has raised a hand. Is there a question? In the meanwhile that this gets installed, let's just have a look at what this is, right? It's a basic contract. It's a the contract is defined in such a way. It's basically a struct which will have values, right? You can keep on expanding the values as much as you want to. And then there's a default implementation for contract, and there is an implementation of functions of contract here, regardless of default, where you can implement the functions that are there in the contract. It's fairly simple, right? Let's try to run this in the meanwhile. Right. So we've gone through this. Let's just test the contract. So if we open up our terminal here and say cargo test, okay. And then it is going to run these test cases for us that we have here. Get default greeting and set default greeting. Basically, get default greeting is just going to give us the greeting, and then it is going to test it against hello because we have a default greeting as hello, just to see that is the default greeting being set, and set set greeting is going to change it to howdy, and then it is going to assert the statement assert equal by getting the greeting and checking if it has now changed to howdy. If it has, then this test case will also pass. Basic test cases, guys, nothing too fancy about it. Very, very simple stuff, right? So there were two test cases, both of them have passed. First test cases was get default greeting. This one, the other test cases was set then get greeting, set then get greeting has also passed, right? So this is, it is, I believe, running the sandbox test, which it might not be able to do it. All right, now it is asking us to create a testnet account, right? Build the contract and then deploy the contract on the testnet. Let's just do this as well. Once this finishes, probably I can use another terminal. So let's create an account address by the name of, let's see if I can create this one again. Missing, okay. Because we were not able to log in, so I might not be able to create a new account here, right? So with a custom name, okay. Master account used to create a requested account. So you need an account to actually create an account. So we'll probably have to import an account here and then try this entire functionality. All right, let's just see if this is done. So this is done. Great. The sandbox test of this has also uh, is also functioning. So this has also passed. It's good. Every test right now has passed. Sandbox testing is basically it gives you a sort of uh, you know a platform like a test net or a mainnet where you can actually test it through a sandbox ideally, which Near creates for you on your local environment, which is quite good because you basically get a feel how it will actually function on a test net or a mainnet. This is why this took some time to go through this. Now let's just go. Now let's just check out our JavaScript code, right? And we have our public folder here, source folder, which has some components here, wallets here, and a lot of things basically are already here that are pre-made for you. And this is a starter template for you to start working on your front end for using JavaScript basically, right? So let's just go through this one by one as well. Let's just go through the documentation for our JavaScript profile. Right, we've created our application, and then we also have our set greeting and get greeting functions here. Hopefully, it is not just Next.js. Let me just check. So this is just front end. This is not back end. So we might have to create it again. It's all right. All right. Let's create this application again. This time, let's build a JavaScript contract. Let's see what it builds for us. Are we clear so far, guys? Any questions so far? This is pretty simple stuff. I think you guys can go through this very easily, this documentation right here. And I don't think that there are a lot of complicated stuff right now so far. Any questions so far? I'd love to have some questions. Any questions, guys? Good. Okay. Understood. That's nice. Let's wait for this to get over so that we can also see the JavaScript contract now. So now with this, you have your views of front end as well as of your back end, right? Now, and now you know how to basically uh, you know create a contract, right? So what are the next steps? The next steps would be we'll go through contract development a little bit more in detail in the next workshop. But before that, I would really love for all of you to go ahead and find an idea that you need to work with, right? To do that, you can also check out Near ecosystem, right? You can see what are the different projects that are already there. for the near ecosystem. You can go ahead and check out the dev hub for the near ecosystem. Check out some of the GitHubs that are out there, right? Check out some of the tutorials that you can go through to give you ideas onto what can you build on near ecosystem, right? That will qualify for the hackathon and start building it, right? So the next step is that, because now you know the front end, how to go through the front end, right? Now you know how to create a contract, or what are the different ways to create a contract. We'll get in depth of creating a contract a little bit more in detail in the next session. And in the next session, I would really appreciate questions so that we can clear a lot of doubts that are there pertaining to the building of your application. All right. Let's see if I have something here interesting. I am a Rust guy, guys. Okay, so there it is. You have your contract here in TypeScript, right? So it's a fairly simple thing, right? This is also doing the same thing. It basically has a schema which is static, which basically what we are doing right now is we're trying to store this uh, greeting and making it static so that it follows the state persistence. So that it is there all at every time and we do not lose this. And this is what we did in the Rust contract as well, where we implemented the struct. So this greeting basically is a string and it is initializing, and we are initializing it to hello, right, in the start. And this basically, what this means is it's a view only function. This function cannot change the state of the of the attributes here. It can only compute that state and give you a output which is based on the state, but it cannot change the state, right? So this is what view functions are, and view functions do not cost money. Call function does, right? So you have to choose between view and call all the times when you're creating functions. This is the only nitty gritty that you have to, like, for basic contracts. This is the only thing that you have to make sure that it is right? So that the functions that are just returning values and not changing states can be view functions. The functions that are returning value and are changing state, or even if they're not returning value, but they're changing the state, right? Because here you see that the state is being changed by changing the greeting variable. When this is happening, then you have to name the function as the call function. If you name it view function, you're going to get an error for this one. All right. So this is what you have to make sure of. Now let's see how can we test on our application for JavaScript. npm run test. Will give you results of the test script that is written here in the sandbox environment, right? So you guys can also check out the sandbox environment, try to write some of your test cases, right? You might not have to change a lot of things. You might have to just check this thing out, right? And then can replicate it to create your own test cases on top of the contract, obviously. So this is how you can get started building a contract on Near and start integrations with this contract and your front end using, if you want, like if you can create it in Next.js, it's all right. If you do not want Next.js, or if you just want HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, you can then check out Near SDK, right, to connect to your environments, right? And then from your front end to your contract, you can use Near SDK for that. It should be very simple to use, right? And there are a lot of reference documentations for Rust SDKs and JavaScript SDKs as well, or Near API as well. So using JavaScript API to interact with Near, this is what you could be looking at. Near API JS is something that you'll have to install as an npm library, or you probably will be able to find it as a CDN as well somewhere. and then utilize it in your vanilla JavaScript. So I think we covered a lot of stuff today. Let me know if we have any questions so far, guys. These are pretty simple things. Any questions? I can really. Okay, so there are some in the chat. So I was reading about Near protocol online. Most of them show the centralization as a big cons on Near. Could you shed some light on it? Tanish, could you please specify like which areas are you talking about in terms of centralization? Because what I see, in terms of technicality around Near, I believe most of the things are decentralized. Can you shed some light about the centralization of Near protocol? What you've read? Decision making, improvement of protocol. I believe, you'll probably uh, if right now what I believe is in decision making and improvement of protocol, it depends on the blockchain's infrastructure primarily and how they deal with it, right? So you'll find that a lot of infrastructure around a lot of blockchains, it is not fully decentralized, right? That is something that is there with a lot of blockchains, yes. But is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? So I think all of those blockchains are losing their centralization control, right? And they're trying to move towards decentralization as soon as they're achieving more stability and more users on the platform. So Near has moved a lot in that sense, right, towards decentralization. So this is what I think. Any other questions, guys? You can go ahead and join the hackathon help group on the WhatsApp, right? So that if you guys have any queries, we can address them, right? In the next session, we'll deep dive a little more in contracts. We'll help you do it. But if you have some applications that you want to be designed and you have some trouble figuring out how to do that, please reach out to us so that we can all help you quite well. Okay. Over to you, Sai.
Thank you so much, Vinayak, for this wonderful session, right? Thank you everyone for joining up, right? We will be taking up our next session on Wednesday, same time, 6 p.m., right? In the chat box, you can join this WhatsApp group, right? After the call, I'll be sharing all the resources, right? That we have, discussed here, right? So you guys can start working on to your projects, right? And in case you are not able to understand the idea, we will help you with that. If you're not able to understand how to develop, we'll help you with that as well, right? Guys, I cannot emphasize more in terms of how big this opportunity is. You guys can yourself check this out, right? And this is a global, opportunity, right? I can see a lot of OG faces of BlockseBlock community. Tanishk is one of the guys, right? He recently went to Switzerland, right? We were doing some workshop with ICB blockchain as well. He got connected and then he went to Switzerland for a course, right? So when you're connected and you start doing hackathons in our community, this is a benefit, right? You'll always keep on getting these opportunities, right? And not today, Tanish will get the benefit, but maybe 1 or 2 years down the line, when he will be there telling somebody, okay, this is my experience, I have went to this place and learned this and this, that, right? The respect that you will get into the conversation, it is completely different, right? So what I'll suggest you guys to join this hackathon, right? If there's any problem, like the previous hackathons, we will keep on helping you out, right? That's the most we can do. And at the end of the day, it will really help you in all the perspectives, whether you wanted to be a builder, founder, or you are looking for a job, right? All the corners will be clear, right? Plus a large amount of the experience that you will be getting there. So please join the group, right? And see you guys on Wednesday, right? Start building up your projects. If you face any issue, right, please let us know, right? Let's try to finish our projects by 25th, right? Because Diwali is coming up. So let's finish up our projects before that, right? And yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Vinayak, for coming over, right, and sharing your experience. Thank you so much. I really hope you like the interaction with the students.
Yeah, it was really amazing, Sahil. Thank you for having me here as well. Really, it was amazing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Let's
you,
end
everyone.
this now. Thank you.